My name is Laura Fosselman. I work for Mississippi Office of Homeland Security. I'm one of two training coordinators. My primary responsibility for Homeland is to oversee the active shooter training program for the state. So we are here partnering with the Corps of Engineers to train on active shooter training. We call it the Level 1 class. So it's a basic class that we come in and teach. This particular class we teach statewide. So all officers are taught exactly the same techniques so that if any one agency actually responds and multiple agencies follow through, then everybody knows what the left and right hand are actually doing. So it's really a great class. It's awareness. We put the officers through some stressful situations, scenarios, so they can start thinking about, how they're going to be able to control their anxieties, actually pressure, and be able to respond in a very positive, productive way.
We wanted to get all the officers that would actually be involved if, say, ERDC would have an active shooter. We're not going to be the only ones that respond. You're going to have the state troopers, you're going to have the Vicksburg Police Department, you're going to have the Sheriff's Department. So we all kind of have to be on the same page as to how we would enter a building or neutralize that situation.
One of the purposes of the active shooter training is definitely getting used to working with different agencies, because you know as well as I know, in an active shooter event, you may be in Walmart, you may be at school, you may be various places, and this training helps you to make sure that, if you have to respond to an active shooter event, everybody is on the same page, and that's why the training is so important, because everybody be doing the same thing on the same sheet of music, doing the same thing, and that's the diversity of active shooter training. My role as it's a campus police chief at the Vicksburg 1 School District. Our mission statement is to make sure that we provide an atmosphere that is safe for visiting, learning, teaching. So that's the very utmost thing that is very important, because according to Maslow's hierarchy, if a person does not feel safe, he or she cannot perform the task. So our job is to make sure that my staff is properly trained on crisis response as well as active shooter, which is a very intricate part of that. And training is very important. The community, the school is only as safe as the people residing, and that's why you got to train. And as great as the human mind is, in the midst of a crisis, the brain will crash if you try to sit there and try to process. So therefore, you train to the point where you don't have to think about what to do, you just react it. And that's why the more reps you get in active shooter, the notion is that the better off you will be. With this training, if an active shooting actually occurs, we can all line up and we're not going to give out strategies and techniques, but we can all perform our duties and tasks. And we don't have to think about what to do because we already been properly trained. Thanks to Homeland Security, and definitely thanks to the ERDC for actually putting on this training through Homeland Security.
Personally, I think it's going really well. You can certainly see a change in reaction from the first scenario to the last scenario. We're actually starting to set up for the last scenario, and it is, there'll be 20 officers in the scenario, and it's all about the chaos, it's about linking up, it's about quickly responding, it's about using the skills they've learned the last 2 days. And the nice thing about coming to regions such as the Corps here in Vicksburg is that they're locals. So local PDs, local sheriff's office are actually training with the Corps of Engineers. And again, if there's an incident that happens, they'll know people who have already trained with them.